Welcome back to Investing with Confidence. As always, I am your host, Joshua David, and we are getting into these financial markets once again. And I want to just kind of reiterate some of the things we had talked about in that last segment is if you feel you're not happy or you feel your accounts aren't performing, you might need to do something a little bit different. And
Right,
sometimes that different thing maybe it's a little bit scary, but it's not new. It's just different. And
right.
then you be the best steward of your capital. If you happen to miss 2 tickets for that free investing class, call 952-814-4410. Also, you can text the word invest to the number 484848. When you do that, you can receive a link back for with a text and click the link, pick a date for the investing class. When you pick that date through that link, we're also going to give you a free crypto course. That's a new giveaway that we're doing here today. So, Al, as you into the end of that last segment, we want to continue our discussion with retirement. And there's a lot of people, as I mentioned earlier, their accounts are underperforming.
Mhm,
Now, they're not getting the returns that they were hoping for. So,
mhm.
there's a lot of reasons for that. I want to cover what those reasons are, but I also want to talk about what you can potentially do so you're not stuck in that same boat of really all the other people in here in Minnesota.
Yeah, well, I think that in number one, it comes down to this understanding that uh, the way retirement is approached for most people is outdated. And it used to be a what we call a three-legged stool, where you had three sources of retirement income or retirement money to count on. One was your pension. Well, pensions are pretty much gone. In the past, about 60% of people were covered by pensions. Now it's less than 4%. And even those pensions are, in many cases, are underfunded and in trouble. You had Social Security. Well, how is Social Security doing? And what can you expect in the next 10, 20, 30 years when you are getting ready to retire? Can you survive or could you survive just on your Social Security income if that was needed? And then the other thing was your 401k savings. And there's only one of those that you have ever had any control over, and that's what's in your 401k or what's in your retirement savings. Unfortunately, most people have been conditioned to accept the fact that there's this great thing called a 401k that you can put your money in and everything is going to be fine.
It's rainbows and puppy dogs and nice little clouds.
Well, basically, you were sold hope in the form of an investment product that's very lucrative to Wall Street. And that's one of the reasons that people are in a retirement crisis, why we have a crisis, why people are not able to live the retirement life that they had hoped for. Because in the 80s, the responsibility for your retirement account transferred. It was transferred from your employer and their pension fund manager to a new manager, and that manager is you. But it was transferred to you with no guidance, no education, and really very little understanding of the opportunities that are available to you or the cost of holding those assets. That 401k, 403b, whatever the employer sponsored plan was, for the most part, people are in mutual funds. That's kind of the go-to asset in those accounts. And that's the reason that I think one of the primary reasons that people's accounts have underperformed and why they're in a position where they didn't think they would be.
Yeah, and I think you and I we both talk to a lot of people at our sponsor online trading academy. That we talk to people that are planning for retirement. And I just want to clarify what we mean by retirement because so many people that we talk about say, "Yeah, I don't think I'll ever retire."
Hmm.
There's a couple of different reasons because of that. One of the reasons is they feel like they're going to have to work forever,
Sure.
but they feel like retirement is doing nothing. Retirement is basically, in my mind, doing the things that you choose to do.
Sure.
So having those things that you choose to do and doing and going into that time of your life with confidence. So it's not doing nothing. It's being able to choose the things that you want to do. So if you want to understand those techniques and strategies, or really if you want to be the best steward of your money, it's going to be you anyway. You got to come to one of these investing classes that Al teaches. He talks about the 401k, different techniques to utilize within that more dynamic 401k management. If you have a 401k through your work or something like that. Also, say you have an IRA, different techniques you might be able to use with that to have the potential to get more confidence going into retirement. So callers 1 through 10, when you call in now, you can receive some tickets for the investing class, also the financial quick start kit, There's 3 retirement strategies that Wall Street does not talk about in this class. In this class, he talks about how to time the market by letting price come to you. But the big thing, especially in your retirement accounts, are step-by-step, rules-based strategy for trading any asset in any market. 952-814-4410. Also, text the word invest to the number 484848. As always, you're going to receive a link back. Click the link, pick a date for the free investing class, come in, and Al teaches these. So, Al, we talked about the 401k. You talked about this three-legged stool. Now, there are a lot of opportunities with IRAs.
Right.
A lot of people think when they have an IRA, they're supposed to have a broker or an advisor or some sort of money manager take care of that for them. Basically, they're giving all of their life savings to a stranger.
Right.
Think about that. Would you give your life savings to a stranger and then have that 4-letter word, which is hope, to have them manage that properly for you? And you had talked about in the second segment how the strategies that they're putting you in, it's a one size fit all, so it's not custom for your needs, for your goals and objectives. And talk a little bit about self-directing, Al, because we see so many people want to be able to make those decisions in their 401ks and IRAs and have an alternative to mutual funds as well, because the big thing they want to remove is those fees.
Right. The fees are substantial as far as the impact, the negative impact on what you could have. That's one of the reasons that there is a crisis. People think that that's something that they have to pay. That's their cost of having this great investment that they have been conditioned to believe is going to be their hope, their retirement hope. Well, the truth is that those fees can take away as much as 50 to 75% of what you could have in your retirement accounts if you don't know how to control them, you don't understand what they are. So most of our students understand that because we talk to them about that. We tell them what the impact can be. And then they understand that one of the best ways to increase the rate of return on their investments is to minimize or eliminate fees. One of the ways you can do that is to have a self-directed IRA. There are no fees there. You can set up an account. You're managing it. You're already doing that in your employer-sponsored plan anyways. So maybe some additional money that you might have put into that plan, if you're still working, we would say the free money that you get if you're getting a match, that's something that is worth taking. But a lot of people, after they have exceeded the percent that the match applies to, will continue to put money into the 401k because that's what they have been told to do. Well, a lot of our students will use that money in a self-directed IRA. Now you've eliminated the fees, which is great. You're making choices that you're making anyways in your employer-sponsored plan, but you have many more opportunities, many more things to make those choices on. You can use the leveraged assets that I mentioned in the last segment, which means smaller amounts of money can be used to control a much larger investment. Those leveraged assets are the futures market, the foreign exchange market, the options market. Futures and Forex, by the way, trade essentially 24 hours a day, so you have many more opportunities as to when you're going to do it. But that leverage is huge. It allows you to use smaller amounts of money, but it also allows you to participate in all three market directions. In your employer-sponsored plan, the only way you can benefit is if the market or the assets go up in value. So you're missing out if they go down in value or if they're sideways. But in a self-directed retirement account, we'll show you how to use assets and strategies that give you the potential to benefit in all three directions. Also, then this may be the most important thing. You have the ability to have protection on your assets, which you don't have in the employer-sponsored plan. And that is key after you've worked 30 or 40 years. You cannot let what you've worked so hard for be taken away.
Yeah, and remember back in the second segment, we were talking about that Buffett indicator, with the Buffett indicator stating that it's likely to return a negative 3.1% a year from this level of valuation, right? That's including dividends. So that's why you need to have strategies in your IRAs, in your 401ks with these different assets in up and down markets. There's opportunities in down markets. It's called shorting. And you talk about that in these investing classes. What are those opportunities in these up markets, sideways markets with options, down markets, using other assets that allow you to utilize a smaller amount of capital? And it's really all about making better investing decisions within those retirement accounts. And that's what it's all about. And, you know, we talk to a lot of people in these investing classes, and I think I've seen more 70-something-year-olds come into these
Yeah.
classes,
Hmm.
and one of the key things they say is, I wish I would have did this before. Don't be that person that says woulda, coulda, shoulda. It takes a little bit of action. Do that before you're 70 or do that before you're 80. If you're between in your, let's just say, 60 or 50s, I mean, there you have the time to do that still. That's still,
Right.
you're really almost at halftime of your life. So do that now. So callers 1 through 10, call 952-814-4410 for this investing class. Also text the word invest to the number 484848 to get started to learn more about your IRAs and 401ks. Al, we got one more coming up. What do you have coming up next?
Well, think about this for a minute. Who's responsible for educating your kids on the financial part of their life? Let's talk about that and then how it can be done.
How to help out your friends, but also the number one thing, family and then investing. 952-814-4410 or text the word invest to the number 484848. This is Josh and Al. We'll be right back.